Hello and welcome, Libra, to Starstruck Tarot. My name is Daniel Dubois. I'll be doing your monthly reading for August, looking at your work environment, your home environment, and your love life. I apologize if there's a small echo. It's a guitar is in the corner of the room, and every time I speak, it kind of resonates with it. Sorry about that. Do understand that this is a new set, and you may be wondering why I keep changing it up. I'm trying new formats and seeing what works. Also trying a little bit of a less is more with my setting. It was a bit cluttered. So yeah, quick disclaimer. Please understand that I'm reading from the perspective of Libra for my cross watchers. So take everything that you hear into consideration. This is for Libra. Um, Understand that all energies are interchangeable, so take what resonates. Switch the roles if you know what's best, because you know your situation best. And without further ado, let's jump right in. So firstly, we look at your month with these ancestral oracle cards. We look at the theme of your month, and the theme is travel. So let me bring this to focus. There we go. Travel. Move in a new direction. So what I feel this is telling me about your month of August, the overall theme is kind of moving on with your life, either metaphorically or maybe even literally. You may be in a current romantic situation where you share a home with someone else. This may be that you're still living with your parents, possibly, and you are thinking of going out on your own. Yeah. Or this may be a relationship that has grown stagnant or that is there's no real development moving forward with this person. You kind of see it as ending and you're ready to move on. So you're in this traveler energy right now. Now, the other energies that you will be experiencing within the month of August, I drew some chakra wisdom cards, oracle cards, and what we have is miracle. Let me just wait. There's such a glare here. Hold on. Can you see that? Can you see it? I think you can. Miracle. That is your solar plexus energy, and what it's telling me is that you are trying to find the silver lining out of your current situation. Change is never easy, and the idea of moving out and starting anew, that's kind of scary, but you're trying to find the good in this opportunity. The good is the opportunity for growth, the opportunity to prove your independence, to live your life the way you intend to live your life, basically. So yeah, you're finding the golden moments in between. Okay, at the core of your energy, there's acceptance. There's an acceptance here, probably, that you need to move on, whether it be energetically from a situation that does not serve you anymore, or whether it be actual moving away to a different apartment or living on your own. Whatever it may be, you've come to accept the situation as it is, and you understand that there is nothing more that you can do. All you can do is move on from this point. And finally, we have dissipating. Dissipating speaks about a situation where there's a lot of talk of improving a situation, but no real action towards doing so. So I feel like that has to relate to whatever energetic situation you were in previously. There was very much talks between you and the other person about improving, and you guys had this conversation where you were open and honest, possibly, and you did everything that you could really to make the situation work. But you're recognizing that this has kind of ended for you. You're no longer in this place where you want to invest in this because you're not emotionally tied, and it takes too much out of you, probably. And so this dissipating is kind of like you recognize that you've given all that you can to the situation. It's now coming to an end. Okay, now looking at each of the weeks, the theme for each week in the month of August. The first one we have is the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups speaks about it talks about inner strength. It's recognizing that you've done the necessary work in your own life, that you're able to strike out on your own, to do what you wanted, to be independent, because you recognize hard work and you've put it in. And now your investment in life, maybe you saved up some money aside, and you now are in a in a place where you're able to financially move on, and you're setting the tone. You're doing what you need to in order to move on because you have the financial stability. Okay, the theme of your second week is the Hierophant in reverse. What this tells me is that there's a lot of negotiating at this point. There's a lot of trying to figure things out. If you are already moving out in the first week, or if you're leaving this relationship, this is the hard part. This is the now that it's over, it's over. And the realization that, ouch, this hurts. This may also be that you're having a hard time adjusting to this new change. Because, like I said before, change is hard. And I feel like you're doing the best you can, negotiating with the people in your new domestic space, or trying to figure out where you fit in and how the dynamic works. So this is what you're doing in your second week. In your third week, we have the moon. I think this was actually in reverse. Yes, this was in reverse. And what that speaks to is a state of disillusionment. Whatever you didn't know about your new living situation, or the new romantic relationship you invested about, that has been cleared. That is, the truth is out now. You see things clearly for what they are. Libra, understand you, along with Taurus and Pisces, one of the most romantic star signs out there. And if this is a romantic situation, a new romantic situation, that you've taken the next step with and decided to move in together, it may be that you were moving in with rose tinted glasses, trying to see everything in the best light possible, but also realizing that it's good to be positive, but you also have to be realistic. And this is where this moon in reverse comes from. It's seeing everything exactly as it is. Ooh, I'm messing up my own spread. It's fine, I'll sort it out again. And in your final week, the theme here is Five of Coins, so definitely a change of some sort. If you were moving in with a friend, it may just be a momentary transition into moving in possibly on your own. Whereas before you weren't certain whether you wanted to, so you decided maybe I'll move in with a friend, or maybe I'll move in with this new person. And I think you've realized that, nah, this situation, maybe it's not working for me, or possibly you're realizing that there's more work to it than what you expected. It wasn't going to be sunshine and rainbows, and now it takes a financial change, and it really is a responsibility, becoming independent and living in your own space. And I feel like that gravity is hit, but I do think that it's a learning experience for you. It's definitely a learning experience, and it takes you one step closer to being your own person. This may also be a an emotional journey, a spiritual journey, in learning more about yourself. So this traveler may involve you physically traveling. It may involve you leaving an old relationship, but you're definitely moving on with your life in some way, or in one way or another, energetically. Okay, so now moving into our main spread, basically the tarot cards you see here, the three sets per week. These look at the different environments in your life. So your working environment, or your finances, your home environment or domestic environment, and then finally your love life and your social environment. So first, in your first week, what we have for your home and domestic, we have the King of Swords in reverse. So definitely some harsh words being exchanged, harsh but honest communication. I think this is the conversation that you guys have that makes you realize that, okay, this isn't working anymore. And though it's hard to have those kind of conversations, they're necessary, because you don't want to walk around with your blinders. You don't want to think that a situation is what it isn't. Because when you have those issues, when the truth isn't communicated between two people, someone might have an expectation that will not get met. Both people might have an expectation that won't get met. And that leaves disappointment and heartache. So rather find it out now. So someone in your current domestic environment will be speaking up, and maybe an authoritative figure. Maybe you live with a parent, a father, or maybe it's a roommate who's older than you or has seniority in some way. But you're definitely having an honest conversation, and you're like, nah, this isn't working for me anymore. Because that's negative communication coming in there. It's controlling. This may be someone that's like, look, I'm setting a curfew, I'm setting the rules. If you don't, they're laying down the law and trying to control you, and you are not wanting that. You want to be on your own buzz. You want to operate on your own terms and not feel constricted. But this person is doing this, and that's when you realize, this isn't working. For those of you who may be physically moving out of your space, that may be the reason why you're moving. Okay, so now looking at your finances. I saw the the high priestess in reverse. Now, the high priestess to me speaks about foresight, about thinking things clearly, about seeing things as they are and making decisions based on wisdom and fact. And I feel that maybe you're in an emotional state right now, and that you may be deciding to move right then and there. Like that, this is a confrontation that seems very heated, and you may decide right there and then that you're going to move. However, I feel like you didn't expect this. This wasn't something that was planned right away. So I think that maybe you're thinking of moving out of your current situation, and it may cost you a little bit more than you intended, but this is it feels like a decision made out of passion. It's like a big blowout, a big argument happened, and then you decided, boom, nah, I'm going. And it may cause a bit of a financial strain on you. Just understand that if you are moving, or if you have this argument, take a moment to breathe and think the situation through. If you really do want to move, make sure you do it when you are stable, my friend. Okay? Now, looking, or if it's a relationship where you were not codependent, but the other person carried the bulk of the financial costs between the two of you, maybe for dating or traveling. Understand that this person may be withdrawing their assistance, if they are. I'm just saying, if they are, for some of you. But it does say that there's a decision that you'll be making based on passion and not so much reason that may cost you a bit. So just be mindful, and take three mindful breaths before we make any decisions with finances. Okay, so act with your intuition instead of out of hate or anger, spite. In your love situation and your social environment, we see the Two of Swords in reverse. Now, this may be for those of you who are moving from a romantic situation. If you are metaphysically, like you're moving on from this person in the energetic sense that you don't want to love them anymore, you move on to the next person. If you're doing that, then to me, there may be another party involved here. There may be someone, this old relationship that didn't work out, and someone came in possibly just as a friend or an acquaintance, maybe a casual flirtation, but it's becoming something more serious, and now you're having to choose between the old energy and this new energy. And I feel like this argument may be the tipping point for those of you, possibly, and you decide to move out if you're currently living with a person, or if you are single and you were talking to two different people. You now have to decide which one of these connections you want to invest in. Okay, moving on to your second week. In your domestic environment, we have these Six of Wands, and what this tells me is that you are definitely in a state of moving. Remember that six, and it may be with people that you know, a friend, because sixes, they usually represent how can I say, finding stability after a major change. They're in close proximity to the sixes and the sevens. Sevens being obstacles in the way, and five which six is in between. It represents change. This is the stability between those two. So if you are moving into a new environment, you're definitely doing it with someone that you know and someone you trust, or you are moving into a situation that seems good, and it's not gonna say it's not stressing you out, but you're definitely moving and you're not looking back. If you're moving away energetically from a person, you're not going to be contacting them, looking at their stuff. You're probably blocking them on social media. You're just moving forward with your good in mind, but not even looking their direction. And if you are actually physically moving, you are moving and you are not responding to this person's phone calls. You are just dead set on moving forward. That's what I'm seeing in the domestic environment. Or you're just ignoring this person, which is another option too. Um, in your financial surroundings, in your work environment, and so forth, we have the Six of Swords in reverse. So this is another six here. But what this is telling me is that this is this movement, whatever it is, if you were reliant, or if you were in a relationship with someone that paid maybe for dinner or helped you in some way. I'm not saying this is for all of you, but for some of you, if it may be that you're a bit dependent on this individual, I feel that now that you're having to pay for yourself, you may be in a it may come as a big surprise to you that it's really taking a lot from you financially. Like, you may have to make some plans, you may have to budget for this. If you are planning to move, please make sure that you have everything that you need, because this is telling me that it's going to cost you a lot more than you expected, sweetie. So just keep that in mind. If you're moving out of your parents' place because they're too demanding, understand that you're going to be paying bills of some kind if you're moving out on your own. And I feel like that reality is kind of coming home to you at this moment. It's knocking on your door. However, I do feel like this change has caused some prosperity in your social life and in your love life. Whoever it is that you're now involved with, be it romantically or friendship wise, it feels like a collaboration. It feels like people coming together and helping each other out. So while you may feel a little despondent that you're paying your way in such a big and significant way, you do feel like you're not in it alone. And if this is a romantic situation where you've chosen one person over the other, they're coming to the plate here. It's them saying, look, I recognize the choice that you made, the sacrifice you made was significant. And here's me showing that I do respect that and I'm here to contribute as well. So, okay, that's good at least. So, in your third week, this moon in reverse. In your domestic environment, we have the Ace of Swords in reverse. Now, what this tells me is kind of a false start. For me, this is what it feels like. Like you thought that this would be a new beginning for you, but you're recognizing that what I thought was a great situation, a new beginning, possibly might have been too good to be true. It was a case of it was too good to be true. If you're actually moving from someone, if it may be that you are living with a different parent instead, if you are dependent on your parents and you moved in with your father, maybe you're realizing that, oh but this person has rules too, and there are rules no matter where I go, and it's not exactly what I thought it would be. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. In your financial situation, I do see that this expense in your life is causing you some concern. It's really getting in your head. You're worrying where the money will run out and you won't be able to pay for things anymore. That this may be a temporary situation because financially maybe you're not in the right place right now. That's what I'm seeing with this Ten of Swords in reverse. You recognize that your resources are limited and that maybe you won't be able to afford this new change, or you may have to downgrade or downsize. That's what I'm seeing, is that you recognize that you're going to have to live life a bit more frugally, or you might have to downsize on where you're living right now. Really revisit your budget and how you live your life. I do feel like this may take a strain on whatever relationships. If this is a friend that you moved in with, the strain that this financial situation is causing on your mind will reflect in your relationships and how you interact with with other people. Because I feel like you may be retreating. The Five of Swords is definitely about change, because all fives are, but this speaks more to kind of self-serving tendencies, and if you have money, then trying not to give it as freely as you used to, because Libra, Leo, Pisces, very generous signs, but I think you're recognizing, oh crap, this is drawing more of my energy than I can, and maybe you're being a bit selfish with your energy, and that you're not interacting with others. You're kind of thinking how you're going to make things work for you right now, because you can't really. This is costing more than you expected. Okay, looking at your fourth week here. How long is this video? So about 20 minutes. Wow, okay. Not a bad thing. It's just I'm trying to maintain a time period between 10 to 15 minutes, and I've long passed that. So okay. In your domestic environment for your fourth and final week, we see that there may be some stagnation, or possibly a retreat. I'm sorry again to say, maybe this was necessary to help you understand how to do this properly in the future. But I do see the Knight of Wands as you maybe having to go back to the old situation. I don't know if it's for the long term, but I do feel that by the end of August you recognize that your previous situation was a little easier for you. If you are living with your parents, you may be moving back in with your parents. If it's with an old roommate or flatmate, you may be moving back to that person. Or if this was an old relationship that you thought wasn't good for you, but when you look at how you're being treated now versus how you're being treated with that person, with the person that you were with prior, you may realize that this was maybe where you wanted to be, and you go back to that person. But it's not without some struggle. I'm hearing going back isn't easy. Yeah, it isn't easy to admit if something isn't working out and you have to go back with your figurative tail between your legs. It's not a great energy to be in. It's not good for a person's ego, but it is what you're having to do with your domestic situation. Just for now. That's what I'm seeing, Libra. Going into your financial, at least I can say that financially there will be prosperity again in your life, and that you will be able to afford the things that you want to afford in your life. And there will be, I think there's a renewed sense of collaboration here. With whatever your old situation was, I think the person that you were living with, or that you were in a relationship with, or some kind of situationship with, my tongue. I think they realize that, okay, if I don't, they missed you. I feel like they actually missed you, and they feel bad that this happened. But they're not. But this may be a stubborn energy, and they won't admit it. But I feel like you guys will be quietly working slowly to going back to a cohesive unit and working together, and your financial situation will be better because of it. Um, As for your romantic and social life, we do have the Three of Swords, which does mean the end of a relationship. So if this was you trying to move in with a rebellious friend, I'm just saying, if this was you moving in with a friend and thinking that you were going to be roommates and stuff, or housemates, and this situation didn't work out, I do feel like it may be the end of that relationship. It could be that the person that you were wanting to move in with, they seemed like they had it all, but they were just looking for someone to leech off. That's what I'm hearing, is that this person, whoever you thought was your friend you were moving into, they weren't really coming to the table. Maybe they didn't do dishes, they didn't replace the food that they ate out of the fridge, they weren't cleaning up after themselves, they're having people come over and making a mess and play loud music. And it just wasn't working for you. It's like, that's not your energy. That's not Libra. And I think you realized, this was not a great relationship. I thought it was because it was fun, but and I do see it as kind of the end of, or if it was a romantic relationship that was flirty and fun and it was exciting, you realize that's all great until the chips are down and when I need you, and if you aren't there, then this isn't what I want, and you kind of call it quits on this energy. Yeah, and that's how I see your month of August. Libra, do understand that whatever happens, this is personal growth. It may not just be traveling out of your safe place, that comfort zone. This is teaching you how to, because change is scary. Being independent is scary, but having that taste and knowing what to expect and what you should plan for in the future when you do decide and you're able to truly do this on your own, you are prepared for that. And you will grow from this. You will grow from this, Libra. Okay? I hope that this was helpful. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please give it a like and a subscribe. If you want to leave a comment, do all that beautiful thing. Share this with your friends if you can, please. Every subscription helps. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next reading. Bye.